Hey guys, happy Monday. Welcome to my live. Welcome to my channel, Simply Michelle. Happy to have you. Continue to listen to reruns of my story while you support me for watch hours, and thank you. The pastor didn't preach fire and brimstone as he expected. He spoke about prodigals and about men who ran far and came home broken. About a God who didn't flinch at scars. Marcus cried before he realized tears were falling. After the service, an elderly man shook his hand. Glad you're here, son. No question, no judgment. Just welcome. Marcus kept coming back, time after time, week after week. Prayer by prayer, verse by verse. Faith didn't fix him overnight, no. But it's steady. It taught him silence, patience, and accountability. For the first time in his life, Marcus Lee learned how to listen instead of react. Chapter 4. Paying back that it was taken. Marcus knew repentance meant more than prayer. So he went back into the streets, but differently. He helped clean up abandoned lots, mentored kids whose eyes reminded him too much of his own past and mistake. He worked constructions during the day, volunteered at night. He apologized where he could, made res- restitution where possible. Some doors snapped in his face, of course, others opened. One woman, Mistress Alvarez, whose son had been recruited into the gang years ago, stared at Marcus long and hard. You think this makes it right? She asked. No, ma'am, Marcus said honestly. But I think it's a start. She nodded slowly. Then don't stop. And he didn't. Chapter 5. The kind of woman he prayed for. Marcus didn't rush love. He prayed for it. Lord, he said after, if you send me her, let me be ready. And if I am not ready, don't send her, not yet. That prayer was answered in an expected place. The community center. Her name was Elena. She wasn't loud. She wasn't impressed by charm. She wore kindness like armor and faith like breath. She volunteered tutoring kids, never raising her voice, never backing down. Marcus noticed how children gravitated toward her, how she silent, how she listened silently and fully, how she prayed with quiet confidence, and most of all, how she didn't flinch when she learned who he used to be. I don't date potential, she told him quietly one afternoon. I date purpose. Marcus nodded. Then I'll walk in mine. Will you be interested then? Instead, she stared into his eyes deeply, and that intrigued him. Chapter 6. Tested by past, the past doesn't disappear, it waits. Big Ray sent word, old debts, old threats, a reminder that once you belong to the streets, they don't forget you. Marcus was tempted to fight, to prove himself the old way. Instead, he prayed. He prayed. And he sought counsel. He chose restraint. And when violence came slow, he walked away, even when it cost him pride, money, and safety. Elena watched it all. You are not the man you were, she said one night, and you are not pretending that mattered more than love. She complimented him. Chapter 7. Love built on truth. Marcus didn't propose with diamonds at first. He proposed with honesty. I can't promise perfection, he told Eleanor, but I promise faithfulness, growth, and a love that protects instead of destroys. She smiled through tears. That's the kind of love I've always prayed for. They married in a small church where Marcus first learned to kneel. The congregation stood and clapped, not because the room was flawless, but because redemption was visible. Chapter 8. A life that gave back years that have passed. Marcus became a counselor, a mentor, a husband, a father. The streets knew his name, but now they spoke it differently. He never forgot where he came from. He never stopped serving. He never stopped praying. And every New Year's Eve, he returned to that rooftop, not to look back in regret, but forward in gratitude. Because one resolution spoken honestly had changed everything. Ah, beautiful. And guys, there you have it, our short story for today. And the moral of the story is true true change begins when a man takes responsibility of his past, submits his future to God, and commits to becoming a blessing rather than a burden. Love, purpose, and restoration followed not from who we were, but from who we choose to become. And that's the moral of the story today. And I don't know how many persons can truly relate, but I find it very interesting. And I do applaud Marcus. You know, many times in life we all make New Year's resolutions, and that is why I stopped making them. Not to look on anyone who do, you understand, but New Year resolution I think are not to be taken lightly. You know, I believe that when you make a promise and set a goal to do something, especially something to better ourselves, we should truly follow through. Try, try with number one. Yeah, and also you may not get to accomplish all that you set out to do, but let it be that you try. And in trying, I guarantee you will accomplish, if not one, maybe a few, but you will accomplish something. And Marcus, yeah, his new real resolution was to quit the gang and to find the woman of his dreams. And not just any woman, a particular woman who, you know, temperance was good, who loved the Lord. I believe that those things that he was looking for in a woman, they were things that he himself needed and would help him, encourage him, motivate him to continue on the right path. But just like a lot of stuff in life, when we determine to turn away from that which is bad or evil or toxic, it takes effort. And sometimes depending on what the situation is or are, it may want to hold on to you. Because in Marcus's situation, being a part of a gang, that's not an easy thing to break free of. But I honestly believe that God works on the desires of our heart. And because Marcus had made up in his mind that, look, come what may, I am going to make a change. I am going to quit that gang. And I am going to find the Lord. And the Lord honors faith. And because he had faith that he could have done that, the Lord honors it as he prayed and he asked the Lord motivates him to continue on that path. And as we see in the story, Big Ray, like any big Dan, I would assume, they're not going to want to let off of their most precious prize, man. You understand that? You want to what? You want to go and serve the Lord now. Then he was jeering Marcus, but that didn't deter him. He even threatened him that, look, all right, and let him go because Big Ray believed in his heart that, all right, after so many sins that you have committed, Marcus, you won't be walking free in the streets. I'll leave you to the streets to do what, I want to do, but I'm not going to do it, which is taking his life. But what Big Ray did not know, that God had a plan for Marcus. That's the difference. When God is really in the vessel, guys, we can smile at any storm. So, yeah. And what did Marcus do? He did change his life with the help of the Lord and his effort, because he had to show the Lord that, look, I want this, it's not just mortal. You understand? So we have to do our part. And as you see, Marcus, he gave back to the community. The community didn't readily accept him, as you can hear in the story, and in real life, think about it. A man that destroys his whole community with gang of fears and violence, it is not so easy. After he decided, oh, I found the Lord now for others to forgive him. But what? It took time, he proved himself, and the community gradually take his time and came around. I don't believe that all woman that whose son was also recruited in that same gang. You could hear it in her voice, as she said, so what? So we should forgive you now. You could hear the anger in it, but what I respect about that woman is that the woman tried to hold him accountable and said, all right, don't you quit. Right, so like many people would, someone come around and know that what, better we have been doing good than doing evil. So some will come around, and some persons are more forgiving than others, as we all know, right? Yeah. So the moral of the story is that true change, it really begins when a man takes responsibility. You have to take responsibility, and that's what Marcus did. You have to take responsibility for your actions. You have to take responsibility, for his past. He then submits to the future in God. What? Submit. He obeyed what? He wants to obey God or damn says. He had already taken accountability and all that. All right, I've done that, so now I have to do this. So he know what? Submit his will to the Creator, and that's a great way to go. And of course, after submitting his will and future to God and commit to becoming a blessing rather than a burden, love, purpose, and restoration followed, not from who he were, but from who he chose to become. So the love started pouring in along with the restoration, with the new man that he had. He was becoming and he became. Right. So healing took place and all of those things. And so this story should really teach us that nothing with God is impossible, my friends. Nothing with God is impossible. You just have to trust Him. You just have to lean upon Him. First of all, take accountability. Go down with prayer. You understand that the way to communicate with God is through prayer. You cannot go around prayer. For you to go to God, you gotta go through prayer. And prayer takes what? Prayer takes sincerity. Right? It takes repentance. It takes also knowing that the first thing, as I said, was accountability. It takes repentance and honesty. Right? It takes healing and all of that. It takes faith also. Because you have to believe. You have to first believe that there is a creator, there is a God. And that God in whom you are praying to for whatever, He will forgive you. right? He, first of all, you have to believe that he can forgive you, right? In believing that he can, then you know, believe and know that he will. You understand? And that is faith. You have to believe. There is no faith without believing, right? And you have to have patience for that which you hope for, you keep praying for, right? Until you see it. And you don't stop praying until prayer is answered, right? And the Lord will try our faith. Faith is the substance of the things that you hope for, right? And the evidence not seen. Substance of things hoped for, the evidence not yet seen. But what? You hope, and in your mind's eye, that which you hope for, you patiently wait for it, and you look forward to it as you do what you should do to be in what? To be in the situation to receive from God, right? And God is a just God. He's an honest God. He don't look like, and he don't treat us the way we do. He's a forgiving God. What he wants is a genuine heart and repentance, which is to make a right about turn. So you turn away from that which you used to do that you know that you shouldn't do, right? Like Marcus did, and start to do that which he knows is the right thing to do and the better things to do, right? And to submit yourself to God and God audiences, the way of God, right? How do you know the way of God? Is by what? Reading the Word of God. His Word is life, it's light, and it's truth. We can't go around it. And as you read and you get the knowledge of who God is, what He's asking of you, then you apply and you submit, right? And you will see the change and you will get your answer, your response. But you must be, and there must be truth. There's no going around it. Absolutely no going around it. You know, and that is it. It's like, for example, if you want oil in your vessel and you go to top of oil, do you throw the new oil that you have and the stale oil that you had for years? No. You are going to get rid of that stale oil. You are going to cleanse that vessel, that container, for the new oil to be poured into it. And it's the same way with us, you know, as believers, as individuals coming to trust and to know the Lord in whatever change that we desire and whatever we need from Him and desire for Him to do. We have to take stock. We have to take stock of ourselves, of our life, right? Because this vessel that we have, you understand? Yes, you can see the outward of it, but the way that, right, in your mind, you know, what makes me think inside, no one can see and touch that until you reveal it, right? So this flesh, this temple is housing that spirit that belongs to me, right? That part of me that cannot be touched physically is robed with flesh into a body, right? So when we talk about cleansing, we are talking the inner. Yes, we can bathe with soap and feel nice and sweet, but does that change anything? No. So you have to reflect from your mind, because everything that we go through, whatsoever battle we face, whatsoever victory we will win, we win, right? It starts from the mind. It starts from our thoughts. Whatsoever knowledge we conjured up and stored in our thoughts, in our mind, that's the battlefield, right? So just like Moses, what did he do? He went to that rooftop. And when he went to that rooftop, what was Marcus doing? He was reflecting. You know, thank you for coming in, whoever you are. You can thumbs up the video. Thank you. God bless you. Right? What Marcus did, it all starts from his thought. Right? He's tired of, you know, the blood, the killing, and everything that the gang comes with, that everlasting battle. against himself and the community. You know, that it has been destroyed. And where it all starts, it comes from his thought and that, oh man, I have to make a change. This New Year Eve, I have to make a change about who I am, how I operate, and what I'm doing. So it all comes from our thoughts. You want better, it comes from our thoughts. You want to stay in the way that you are, it's still our thoughts. And it is a battleground because a lot of time people desire to change like Marcos, but what they cannot bring themselves to do and to think is to see the end result. They can't see how they can make a change. If you cannot see how you can make a change, I am sorry, but that change is not going to come. You understand? You first have to hope. You have to hope for the better. You have to hope for something different. So it all starts from the mind. Our machine up here. So yeah, if you come across this video, if you're here listening right now and you want to make a change from whether maybe it's a toxic relationship, situation, environment, whatever it is, but you want to really do a change, think upon it. And when you think upon it, think about, all right, I have to take accountability. So yeah, I have been doing this. What am I going to do differently? Right? So you have to look into yourself. What is it you're going to do differently? That is taking accountability. And in doing so, and you feel like you cannot manage on your own, I mean, come on. We all have a creator. You understand? When the rain falls, it falls on the good and the bad, and everybody's house down. So what is that telling you? That there is a merciful creator. There are so many things that we can look in our life and see that, happening to us that are good, that we don't deserve. It's coming from a creator. He doesn't look at us the way man does, right? So start there. Start acknowledging the creator. I said, there must be a God up there. You made me. And, I want to make a change. So I need your help. Yeah, this is the thing that we need to realize, especially in 2026, that God is not a far off like we think. Of course, you cannot see Him, and maybe you don't have the spirit of such yet, so you can't touch it. But He's there, guys. You just have to start from your mind, believing. Once you start believing, go back to the word. Right now, everywhere you turn, even the man that have the gun in his pocket, in his waist, have a Bible in his back. Start there with the word of God. Read it some more. Even if you cannot read, you don't really have an excuse because everybody do have a phone of some sort now. So you can actually you have an audio Bible. It's free. Everybody has service right now, have internet and radio. You just download the audio Bible if you cannot understand clearly. Hey Joseph, my brother. Joseph said, Miss Michelle, blessed Saturday afternoon and Happy New Year. Happy New Year, my darling. And thank you for the thumbs up. Happy New Year, my friend. Yeah, so really, as I'm saying, Joseph, we can start somewhere. Even if we don't believe in New Year resolution, which some people do, I don't like them for it. I just don't make them anymore because it feels like a bag of pressure and then I struggle to accomplish everything and nothing gets done. So what I start to do, I just start looking to my mind eyes and see what is it I really want to change and start from there to see what is it I want to change, work at it. Even if I don't accomplish no whole bag of things, at least I accomplish something. Right. And I was saying, first of all, that change, like the story that I read earlier with Marcos, it comes from taking accountability. He wanted a change. Even if he was in a gang, the moral of the story is that he was in a gang and he took accountability because he don't want to be in it anymore. And he wanted two things. He made New Year resolution of, the Lord to him and he wanted a woman after God's heart, patient, kind, honest and real, someone that would compliment him and her being the way she is would have helped him to stay the right path. And he made those sacrifices, but he first took accountability that look, this is who I am. and this is who I don't really want to be anymore. I want a better version of myself. And he worked at it. The community, it took a while. They weren't so forgiving, but it took a while as he poured back. You know, they accept him, but whether they would have accepted him or not, he would have continued. And he continued pouring back into the community in the humble way which he can. And so God honored him. He found the Lord, and the Lord blessed him with a woman and a family. You are most welcome. Good to see you, and you are okay. I'm happy. Thanks to the Most High for His blessing. Yes, Jane, same way, my brother. Yeah, and yeah, so really, we just need to take accountability, meaning that we see what did we do wrong, where did we go wrong, how can we fix it, and we start from there. How can we fix it? If we need to ask for forgiveness, fine, whether to God or ourselves or whomever. But taking accountability is must. And then honesty. And then what? Submitting your will. You say, for instance, in Marco's situation, he wanted the Lord, but he know that it was God. That's the thing, I like honesty. Marcus knew that it was God that is going to hold him and keep him, that he cannot keep himself. To be honest with you, when Big Ray, the big gang leader, you know, they were laughing and jeering and said, "Oh, you find the Lord, all right, we leave you to the streets. The streets take care of you, meaning kill it." That didn't happen. But even Big Ray, when he saw that, look, this man mean business and whatever, he left him after a while, right? So it wasn't easy. It's not. I know it's not easy to quit a gang. You understand? But he stood up by faith and know that for what he's going to try, and he did. And in the truth, he know that he couldn't keep himself, like I was saying. He know that he don't take a higher power. And it's true, we have to be honest. He know it's gonna take something more than himself, because at one point, when Big Ray was, what would I say, helping him and sending Shrek along his way, like it's so easy to leave my dad. Marcus wanted to go back to the Batman, it's said it in the story. He wanted to revert, to go back and, deal with the way he would, the old way. But what? After seeking the Lord and being among other people and whatnot who wants to do well, and even his determination, what? The Lord helped him to what? Continue praying, continue doing the will that he wanted, the will of God, and he protects him. Right. So I'm not going to sit here and like, I'm not going to have it easier. In real life, it's going to be easy, but you have to walk. You have to take the step in the right direction. So he asked the Lord to help him, because he know that, look, and my flesh rise up, we dig up that fighting and go look for what he great. But he know that's not what he wanted to do, because all the effort that he had accomplished would have been in vain. So yeah, we have to be honest, man. We have to live on a higher power, whether you are a believer or not. In this world, this thing called life, the 2026 guys, we have to realize that we need a higher power than ourselves. Because sometimes the reality of life, it will shake us, the best of us. It will shake us in such a way that, I mean, if you don't mind sharp, you do certain things that you never dreamt you would. So you have to lean upon the Creator. Thank you, JB. And seek His guidance, like Marcus did, right? And it's a short story, but it's a beautiful story, because there are different people in different walk of life, and though we have all things common, we are faced with same trials, but in different situations and different, what would you say, pressures. But pressure is pressure, it just comes in different circumstances, right? And to be honest, with some persons go through, it seems hard. I couldn't bear it, because that's not what God called me and you to bear, right? That's not what God called us to bear. In JD, everybody trial different, but a still trial. Because the Word of God said, He will not give us more than we can bear. He know that we couldn't bear a gang leader on our neck. That's not our journey to church, but that was Marcus's, right? And he could, because what? God have given him the wherewithal of how to manage it, how to deal with all of that. Yeah. So the moral of the story, he submitted. First, he took accountability. He submitted, and with submission and truth, then love and restoration started to pour his way. Yeah. God restored him. You know, big, powerful, strong man where he used to put my fight. You know, start the church. And sometimes people just say, no, sir, God good him. Really give in a church? She kind of church? But guess what? God have his time to call whomever he wants to call. And once we are obedient and answer the call, there's nothing that is impossible. Trust. Just don't let the faces of men deter you from doing the right thing. Whatever that right thing is that the Lord is encouraging you to do, just do it. Just do it. I remember the other day, I even have a life, I was talking about obedience. You see how much certain things just come back? Yeah, to obey is better than sacrifice. God said, do this, just do it. It's, trust me, guys, it's easier than not doing it, and then I figure make up for not doing it, which is called a sacrifice. It takes more to sacrifice than to be obedient. And yeah, I'm happy that Marcus, he stood the course, regardless of the grade that was sending threats his way. And I think that honestly, Marcus at some point, even though he wanted to retaliate, he knew, he knew that it wouldn't have been easy for him to just walk away. But nothing could have stopped him from doing so, trying it. And it worked. Right, so whatever it is, don't in this 2026, what, third day, just try at it. Try at it. Make that promise to yourself. You don't have to make it to anybody else. Make it to yourself. So you hold yourself accountable and lean up on the word of God. Right. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. Lean not to your own understanding, and He will direct in all your ways. Just acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. It's not just nice words and paper. I'm telling you guys, I'm here as a living testimony. There were times when, even when my husband, our backs were on the wall, against the wall, and sometimes God have to do us that because we're always trying to do things ourselves, even things that we really cannot do. We still are trying, but sometimes God just have to lean you up on a wall and have you set up. We're going to sit that your hands are tied. Oh my God. And there's nothing you really can do. You have exhausted all that you can possibly do or do. That is when we what? We lift our hands and say, Lord, I am tired. I want too much God done. Sometimes we may quarrel first and say, God, why me? Look at all that I tried and nothing happened. Walk to me, God. And some of us maybe be angry too, you know, guys. Angry. The Bible says we can what? Be angry and sin not. So nothing is really wrong with God. You understand that aspect? And we say, Lord, sit here, take it. We try everything. No son, we don't know, we don't. We have to put it there. No, and what? When you do that and you let it go, and maybe you may feel like you were given your frustration because you're frustrated and you don't know what else to do, but guess what? It's because of your honesty with those words, whether you really realize that God here no, yes or no, that honesty, that energy of honesty and pureness that you're pouring out in frustration, He hears and He acts upon it because what? That was what He wanted us to do from the very beginning. But He, being God, knowing all things, know that you know what? You see this picnic of mine? You see the thank you, J Bro. J Bro said so true. You see this man and this woman of mine? You see them? They will not just remember what I've done for them last year or last week or how many years. Why can't they just trust me and say, you know what, Mary, do? Take it out, make a care, do a thing about it. Then you're going what? You have to acknowledge, say, you can do it. So who can? And then now we bring it up, but He hears us. But sometimes be encouraged. It's not that He's not hearing, but He's speaking, but we're not listening. We have to listen. You know, and though sometimes we listen with natural ear to hear words, it may not come in words. But when you do walk in the Spirit, You listen, you watch, and you observe stuff. You know what you're asking for. You know what your difficulty or situations are. You have to pay attention. You understand? And see in what way is God working, in whom or who is God working or speaking. And you will get your answer. But for too long, there's too much noise. We're too busy doing this, trying to do that. You understand? When there comes a time, even if we're not Latino guys, there comes a time where we have to just sit down, relax, and just calm yourself. Move away from the noise. Step out from out of the noise. Whether it be new music, people, whatever circumstances. Find a nice quiet place by yourself. I know that my husband, he loves the bathroom. I said, come from work, bathroom. You must simmer. You must be stressed too. I don't know if anybody else gonna test it, but you have to go to the bathroom and simmer for a while. And so maybe it's not your bathroom, it can be your bedroom, it can be anywhere you find your little peace and quiet in your home, your little piece of solace. And what? Reflect. Don't say a thing. Just sit sometime and just listen. If it's outside, just watch how the breeze are blow, how the birds are chirp, wherever you are. If you're like now in the winter, just find a nice, cozy, quiet place in your home by yourself and just go on, relax. Maybe if you're a person who unwinds, some people unwind with nice, soft music, do that there. And when you shut out the noise and certain things reveal to you in different ways. You understand? When you shut out the noise, man, answers come and ideas that you didn't even realize all along, but you start realizing, no, it is the Lord speaking into your spirit. But what? For too long, some of us just want to hear, Joseph, I heard you. No. Or Michelle, this is the way you should go. No. Sometimes when you are quiet, certain thoughts come to you that it have never dropped in your mind before. And you start to think up and you say, yeah, but we could do that. Yeah, man, we could check out that. And then, you never see all that. Guys, I know sometimes we share things and conversation with ladies. We did our meeting as a family and we were supposed to come back at the time about a week before what it called Melissa have behave and carry on. It was supposed to be the day of our daughter's graduation, but that was cancelled for January this month. So we were going to come back during that period with talking about the graduation or whatever, but it was pushed back because of certain things that happened. And that channel, the point I'm trying to make is that we shared more of what the Lord do and have done and been doing for us. And it's a real thing, guys. It is a real thing. I'm not here just talking. Yes, I started a story that I have written, that I've composed, but it is coming from somewhere. There's someone in life who can relate in some way. But the point I'm trying to make is that trust God. Trust Him because, and there comes a time we are all spiritual beings, whether you baptize or serve the Lord or not. All of us, this temple, it was built to be the temple. There's a part that is built in us that the only thing that can satisfy it is the Creator, the presence of the Creator that gives that peace that passes all understanding and that calm. We are spiritual beings as much as you can touch this. There's a spirit that is in us. So what I'm trying to say is that because we get carried away with the cares of life, the things of life, our goals, our ambitions, and while nothing is wrong with that, we still have to make time for the other part of us that need to connect to the Creator, that spiritual being. And a lot of stuff that we are sometimes going through that bogs down is because, like I'm saying, we need to chill. Just chill and take stock, introspect, look into yourself and say, boy, I wonder if I should, maybe stop doing this or start doing this or whatever it is that bugs you down. Find a nice work environment, think on it. And in thinking about it, this very mind up here, like as I said earlier, it comes from our thought, our mind. That's where the answers come from. That's where the problems are created. Trust me, guys. So if we can, at some point, just have you ever noticed? I'm coming back to that when you put your mind to something and you see the end result, although God can stop it from coming to pass. Think about it. When we are energized about anything at all, and anything get down or get out or accomplish, once we bring that energy to it, it always come to pass, good or bad. That is it. So when you want the good, you want the cleansing, the cleaning, step out of the fussiness. Zoom into who Joseph is, who Michelle are, who are we? Zoom into that because there's more to us, I'm telling you. There's more to us spiritually than this that we can even touch. And when you start to reflect and think, guys, that's why you have so many persons that does meditation. Meditation can be very good. You understand? And certain things, certain thoughts that comes to you, and you will know because when those thoughts come to you, you just cannot shake it. When those answers, like maybe if I do this or that, you may say, "Chopped." You have resources there, man. That won't take too long. But you realize that even though you push it aside like that, it just won't go away. And so when you start to pay attention now and stop trying to stifle it and look a little and examine how it might be possible, it's like, whoa, that one we can get done and whatnot. Guys, that's how the answers come. And many times that is how the Spirit of the Lord speaks to us. Yeah, that is how it speaks to us. That's why in Jamaica, I have used to realize it was a younger person, my teenager. Then time the partner used to run. People used to throw partner with their friends and so on. Then time the partner used to run. Guys. People never have the big money, especially in the country back then, to do certain things. But whether they sell a cow or they farming or what have you, they normally get a good money. And then they would pay their partners and whether you're not supposed to get your partner during the next three months or what have you, they would use their money and then they will buy that significant thing that they want or pay their debts or whatever. I used to be a part of a partner plan in the 90s, the early 90s, before I got married. My first dress up that I bought, it was my partner money. When my husband coming together to, courting and we wanted to buy our things and everything, it's partner money, right? He bought the bed, I bought the dresser. You understand? I I bought the stove, he bought the fridge with our partner John. That's what we done back then. Nowadays there are different ways to do it because not just people like that, people get vicious with their money. But then it was more trustworthy to do so. Now we have the bank system have implemented other things. Same little thing, but they call it different names. So the bank is more trustworthy, so you can go in there, get your money. If you don't get it, you can hold them accountable. But the point I'm trying to make is that energy. Once you believe you can do the thing, you can do it. You can move the mountain. The Bible said, if you have faith, I don't want to guys. If you have faith, like a grain of mustard seed, and you should say to the mountain, be thou removed and cast in the middle of the sea, and we don't know. We believe that which we ask to come to pass, guys, it will happen. It will happen. And it leads me back to the children of Babel in the earlier days, in the Bible days, when they decided that they were going to build a tower to touch what? To touch the sky. But they were so united, guys. So united. They came together and they were building the Tower of Babel. It's in the Bible. I don't remember the exact scripture reference, but it is. When you have time, you can just Google it. You can just say, Google, what is the Bible reference for the children of Babel trying to build the tower, right? They were building that tower. going to touch the sky, passing through the clouds and all. But what? That wasn't the will of God. So because they were so determined, God have to do what? He have to confuse them. Because they were going to touch that sky. That's how powerful our minds are when we put our mind to anything at all we want to accomplish. Guys, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself. I have experienced it in some ways during my how much years of being married to my husband. A lot of stuff that we do accomplish for ourselves is faith. It's not because we have the money. It's believing that we can, with the help of God, and we take the first step by approaching the first thing that needs to be done. And the next thing work out, the next thing work out, and it just fall in place to work out. But you have to help yourself, and it also for our mind. Yes, so back to the Babel heights. Yes, God have to confuse them. What did he do? He let all of them begin to speak in their mother tongue. Because there were different people that come together that speak in different tongues. Maybe some speak Chinese, maybe was speaking Korean, some was speaking French, Spanish, Italian, you understand, Greek, Hebrew, because, and all of a sudden, you can imagine, me talk to one man when I understand a group of people where they pass the cement before they had one language so united and everybody know what to do. But then God said, no man, shut up. You will speak Spanish, you will speak Hebrew, you will speak French. Everybody starts speaking other tongues. Utter confusion. And upon that what? The Tower of Babel sees it couldn't be built anymore. But God had to do that because what? The determination of the people. They were so determined in what they were going to do, only God could stop it. And that's what the Creator had to do. Huh? So that's how powerful we are. But living in this world and the whole structure, the system of life and the quality of life that we try to accomplish, really which nothing is wrong, especially when you have a family depending on you. But you have to remember that we are all creators. But it first starts from our mind. What it is do I want to accomplish today, tomorrow, by the end of the year. Once you determine that this is what I want to accomplish, this is how I am going to accomplish it, you get up every day and you see the end result of it, and each day you start putting piece of the puzzle together, piece of the puzzle together, piece of the puzzle together, I guarantee you it must come to pass. Whether we want to change ourselves, if we want to walk out of a toxic situation or relationship, whatever it is, whatever, it is not impossible, guys. It's just that we have already crippled ourselves when all that we see is why we can't. And that's the thing with Marcus in the story. He wasn't nothing like that. Marcus wasn't looking at the fact that Big Ray, is the head of the gang and he wouldn't let him walk free. And he wouldn't come out of that place alive when he would tell Big Ray that I'm resigning, I'm done with the gang and I want better for my life. He wasn't thinking about what if I go in there, I'm not going to come out and I will kill me. All Marcus saw was that it was possible. I am going to tell the boss I'm done with this. Because Marcus is seeing the end result of what? Walking with the Lord, being a better person, fixing back the community that he helped to destroy, finding that woman that he needs at the end of the day, building a family, maybe have 2 kids, maybe have a little business, whatever, maybe living to give the kids what they want, the joy of hearing their laughter. That's what he see. He saw the end product, the end result of what he wanted. And sometimes that's what we have to do. You have to see that thing which you want to accomplish. What is it going to give you? Why do you want it? And when you embody that feeling, that emotion of what it brings, it gives you the courage. It gives you that sense of the reality of it. Even though it not come yet, it gives you that strength to have the faith. because you're seeing it, you're smelling it, you see yourself enjoying whatever it is, the pleasure of accomplishing it. That's what keeps you. Remove the doubt, remove the fear. So it gives you the energy each day to step a little closer, step a little closer, step a little closer. So you don't see the hurdle until when you reach it, you jump over them. And that's the capability that is in us. That's what God placed in us. Trust me, guys. That is already in us. But it's just covered under the debris of doubt, of fear. And why I can't do this, take too much. It covers all of that under negativity. So if you can brush it off, oh, I see myself, see myself with that. But social media, one day, my ambition is to open up my own house. And to be honest, when I think about it, I see myself in there enjoying charity. You understand? I see myself in there doing videos and testifying with you guys and showing you and explaining how it all came, God breathed into being. And guys, I am living in the emotion and the joy and feeling of that which I want to accomplish, how it accomplished, and at the end of it already. I enjoy. Even talking about it like this, I feel like nice, like, oh my God, I'm excited. We don't spend no more time on look, Lord, we don't have enough money, Lord, I wait to come and boy, I'm this age and by time and nope. That kills dreams. That kills faith. But what? I believe that do the little that you can, maybe the first step is to what? To figure out how you're going to sign up on the papers, see how, by law, how you can accomplish what are the requirements, and all these things. But you have to try somewhere. We have to try somewhere, no matter what it is. And like I said, I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself, because we have to be deliberate in our choices. We have to be deliberate in our action. And this 2026, when you think about it, 2026, in 2000, when my husband and I got married, when I think about 2026, it felt like, oh my God, that seemed dismal, it looked far. And when we ever reached there, but here we are. 26 years later, 25 and a half years later, the end of this 23rd and this December coming will be what, 26 years. Here we are. So you see how important it is not to be deliberate in our actions, especially this 2026. God have us here alive for a reason. We know that. If you never remember, remind you, we are here for a reason. We are all creators in our own. You understand? You create your own memory, whether it be good, positive or negative, we create it. Some of us, we create the negative passively, meaning that by not really doing anything, by knowing what it is you should do, but you don't do anything, you're not positively, you're passively creating the negative. But guys, yeah, we talk for a while, but I love and appreciate you guys. I'm happy that we all cross over into 2026. That we praise. I appreciate you, Jay Brown, and everyone else that are here, is here. Love and appreciate you guys. And let us just chat together, continue to encourage each other, be deliberate in our choices. I'm talking to myself as well. I'm not dictating, I'm talking to myself. I'm encouraging myself. And I know we will have a prosperous end of 2026 as long as the Lord let us pray. So let us continue being our good, bad, good self in whatever environment the Lord show us in any whatever situation. Let us be the best us in whatever way possible. Love and love and love and love. I can't love you guys enough. And appreciate you all. And of course, I will see you here around the streets of YT every now and then. Thank you, J Brown. J Brown said, I'm still here, hon. I know, J Brown. And I appreciate you being here to the end. Yes, we have a few seconds because, of course, it's just an hour. But thank you for coming in. When I don't see you, I do miss your presence because you make every life count wherever you are, wherever you go. And That is it, Joseph. Continue to be your good self, your big, bad, good self wherever you go. Alright. Love you, love you. Bye bye, guys. Until we meet again. Okay, my dear, have a wonderful afternoon. Same to you, Jay Brown, and everyone else, the other person.
Jeanette, I need it for now. Another video is coming in tonight. I don't know why I don't go to the camp on that day. Thank you guys for still being here. Next, I'm gonna go right into Greg and Amora's wedding.
Phone is connected to the TV, which is why I had it disconnected. I have to do a process, that's why it's taking so long.
I'm sorting it out, guys.
Guys, hi, my darlings. Welcome back to another friend. Happy to have you as always. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, Simple Michelle. I at a seaside hotel ballroom. The palace buzzed with chatter. Guests mingling with glasses of wine, admiring her work. Amara stood by her canvases, radiant in her deep coral dress, answering questions with the poise of someone stepping fully into her calling. What she didn't know was that Harold James had slipped in quietly through the back entrance. He had intended to confront, to belittle, to dismantle the illusion he believed this girl had woven around his son. He stood in the shadows, arms folded, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As he watched, he resolved his resolve, but as he watched, his resolve began to crumble. He saw the way Amor spoke, clear, intelligent, unwavering. He saw the respect in the eyes of strangers who stopped to listen. He saw Greg at her side, not diminished, but magnified, stronger, freer, a man who had stepped into his very own. And Harold realized with a span this young woman had accomplished what all his control never could. She had given his son the courage to stand tall. For the first time in his life, Harold James felt something like shame. Instead of confronting Amara, Harold sent a note to Greg. Meet me, private, balcony. Greg found him there, overlooking the sea with both hands in his pocket. The older man's face was tensed with something. Then Greg remembered. Son, Harold began, voice rough. I came here to fight, to tear this down before it could root. But he swallowed. I was wrong. Greg blinked, startled. What? I saw her tonight. She's not what I thought. She's strong, bold, intelligent. She's given you the backbone I never managed to instill. He sighed, shoulders slumping. I have been proud of you all along, Gregory. Too proud to admit it. Too afraid to let go of control. But it's my sin, not yours. Greg's chest ached, his heart hammering. So what are you saying, Dad? Oh, I'm saying I'm sorry. I give you my blessing. From this day forward, I will respect your decision. And if you will allow it, I'd like to be part of your life again. For a long moment, Greg stared at his dad, searching for cracks of deceit. But what he saw instead was sincerity, raw and polished. His father's ignorant arrogance had bent, if only a little. Greg exhaled, a heavy breath. I'll hold you to that, father. Harold nodded, voice almost breaking. He cleared his throat. Then forgive me, son. Forgive an old man. Greg hesitated, then stepped forward. For the first time in decades, father and son embraced, not as conqueror and heir, but as two men fumbling toward peace. Later that night, Greg returned to Amara's side. She was laughing with Margaret, eyes glowing, ring gleaming faintly on her hand. Greg looked at them, his mother, his bride to be, and thought of his father's words. For the first time in years, he felt something impossible. Hope. Chapter 45. Trends of Reunion. Margaret's transformation from silent witness to active participant in her son's happiness was remarkable. Once she slipped into the shadows of Errol's stern dominions. But now she was the one bustling with Amora through fabric stores, helping choose delicate lace and soft ivory silks, or standing in the florist shop, debating shades of orchid. Her white suits you, Margaret murmured one morning, just something Amora scarcely ever felt from her own. Margaret, Amara whispered, her eyes misty. No, Margaret corrected softly. From today, let me be your second mother. One who sees you, one who believes in you, my darling. Greg watched from the doorway, knew there were some wounds even love could not erase. But he also saw new threads being stitched between the woman he cherished the most. Harold, meanwhile, hovering, stiffly in the background of preparations. He was present but guarded. When Greg introduced vendors or suggested locations, Harold grunted short replies. Yet, ever so often, Greg caught a flicker in his father's eyes, a softness uncharacteristic, a tint of a man struggling to unlearn his pride. He didn't gush, didn't assist like Margaret, but he showed up. And that's, Greg knew, was the first step. But Amora's side of the family was a different bottle. She had dreamt of marrying quietly, far from the shadows of her parents' disapproval. Yet her grandmother, wise and steadfast, would not let such division carried into her granddaughter's future. One evening, she sat across from Amara's mother on a veranda in Mandeville, her voice firm but tender. Are you sure, she asked, that you won't regret staying away? Huh. This is your daughter's wedding we're talking about, your only daughter. She's found a man who loves her, a doctor who honors her. Do you want history to remember you absent? Her words carried weight. Slowly, shame crept into Amara's mother's expression. By then, whispers had already reached the family. Amara's art piece had sold abroad. Critics had mentioned her name, and her summer program had sharpened her into a blossoming international artist. The young lady they had dismissed was now being celebrated by strangers. The contrast was bitter. Her father, long stubborn, said little at first, but Mara's mother lowered her head, hands trembling. We were wrong, she admitted, voice breaking. She deserved better parents. Maybe it isn't too late to say sorry. Greg, with quiet guidance, began arranging what Amara didn't know. Meeting a bridge, he leaned on Margaret's gentleness and even Errol's influence, coaxing the families towards one another, piece by piece. Late to say sorry. Greg, with quiet guidance, began arranging to lower Greg's secret search. Amid these reconciliations, Greg pursued something privately. For weeks, he had made quiet calls, checking records, following loose trends about Amara's brother. The truth came together slowly but powerfully. He had been framed, caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. At work, Greg contacted a judge he had known in Boston, who in turn activated legal allies in Jamaica. The case was reviewed, evidence unearthed, and finally freedom. The young man's record was wiped clean. The rehearsal surprise. The rehearsal dinner surprise. The rehearsal dinner was planned small, intimate, of course, just the closest friends and family gathered under golden lights at the seaside villa. Amara was nervous. Greg masked his anticipation. She expected her grandmother, perhaps her parents if courage held. She expected Margaret, Harold, and a few well wishers. What she did not expect was the room to fall silent as familiar faces stepped in. Ben and Tessa, smiling through tears, Michael and Julie, glowing with laughter, Sam and Ashley, their island warmth filling the space, all secretly flowing in by Harold himself. Greg's mouth fell open as he whispered, Oh my God. He turned to his father in shock. Dad, Harold simply cleared his throat, muttering, "A father should do something worthy once in a while, shouldn't he?" Tears streamed down Amara's cheek as she embraced each new guest, and then, the greatest surprise of all, her brother, clean shaven, eyes clear, walking into the light of freedom. Amara gasped, clutching her mouth. "No, no, this can't be," overwhelmed with joy. But it was. Greg had orchestrated it quietly, with Margaret's help and his father's reluctant resources. Your brother's innocence restored. His profession is weighty, his dignity returned. They embraced, both sobbing, while the room erupted in applause. It was not just rehearsal dinner anymore. It was a feast of forgiveness, reunion, and miracles. The dinner stretched into night, filled with laughter, music, stories of old friendships. Margaret toasted Amara, calling her the daughter I prayed for but never dared to imagine. Even Harold, stiff as ever, raised his glass, voice low but earnest, to my son, who proved stronger than me, and to the woman who gave him courage. As parents humbled, finally approached her, they hung their heads, unable to meet her gaze at first. "We are sorry," her mother's whisper, "for the years we made you feel less than who you really are. For the love we withheld, you deserve joy, Amora." Amora's heart trembled. The scars run deep. But with her grandmother's nod and Greg's hand in hers, she whispered, "Then let us begin again." It was set. The next chapter would be the wedding itself, a day not only of union between two souls, but between unbroken families, healed, mended, and made new. Chapter 46. The Wedding of Greg and Amara. Morning of the wedding anticipation. Day dawned with a soft gold light spilling over Miguel's horizon. The sea was calm, the wind just a whisper, as if nature itself had passed to witness the union of two souls who have fought so long to find each other. Amora sat before her grandmother's mirror, her hair being twisted into an elegant updo, small hibiscus blossoms woven delicately between the coils at the back of her head. Her gown, a blend of lace and soft ivory silk, Margaret had helped her choose, laid draped across the chair, glowing in the morning sun. Her grandmother leaned closely, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You have always walked your own path, child. Today, you step into a new one, not alone, but with someone who will carry your burdens and share your joys." Amara blinked back tears. "Do you think I am really ready, Grandma?" Her grandmother chuckled. "You have been ready since the day you dared to dream beyond what people thought of you. And Greg, he's the one who saw that dream and didn't run, my darling." Across town, Greg was being fussed over by Ben and Michael, both acting like elder brothers. His suit was crisp, pearl buttons gleaming. He fiddled nervously with his tie until Margaret swept in, gently brushing his hands away. "My son," she whispered, tears threatening to spill. "I have waited my whole life to see you smile like this. Hold on to her. Cherish her. Don't repeat our mistakes." Greg pulled her into an embrace. "I promise, Mom. She's mine forever, you know." Even Errol appeared in the room behind them, stiff as ever, but his voice carried sincerity. Don't be late. A James man never keep his bride waiting. It was as close to affection as he knew how to show, but it was enough. Amora was radiant in ivory lace, armed in arm with her grandmother. Each step was a triumph, a reminder of how far she had come. Her eyes never left Greg's. He drew in a short breath. For a moment, he forgot how to move, how to even stand. The crowd hushed. Time seemed suspended, as if the sea itself bowed in reverence. And friends, we gathered here today to witness the union of Gregory James and Amara Lewis, two souls who have walked different roads, but have found in each other home. He passed, letting the words settle over the crowd. The officiant continued. Marriage is not the end of a journey, but the beginning of a covenant. Today we will hear their vows, their promises, not just to love when it is easy, but to remain steadfast when storms rise. Greg and Amar turned to face each other, hands intertwined. The vows. His voice trembled at first, but grew steady, carrying over the soft crash of the waves. Amaro, when I first met you, I was a man hiding from myself. I carried the weight of duty, of expectation, and I did not know how to truly live. Then you came fierce, brilliant, and afraid to challenge me. You saw me, even the path I tried to keep hidden. He swallowed, eyes glittering. You taught me that love is not a weakness, but strength. You gave me laughter when I felt hollow. You gave me laughter when I felt hollow, honesty when I was lost, and courage I wanted to run. Today, I vow to honor you, not only as my wife, but as my partner, my equal, my dearest friend. Then Greg raised her hand to his lips. I vow to protect you. I vow to protect your dreams as if they were my own. To lift you when the world tries to weigh you down. And to love you with a love that does not tire, does not waver, and does not end. This is my promise. For every day we are given. Express Greg. Amara's vows. Amara's tears spilled freely as she spoke. Now, her voice softened but steady. Greg, when you walk into my life, I didn't expect you to stay, being honest. I thought you would see me just a girl from a small community and move on. But you didn't. You stayed. You chose me over and over, even when I doubted myself. Her grandmother handkerchief fluttered in the breeze as she dabbled her eyes. Amaro continued. You believed in my art when no one else cared. You pushed me to rise higher when I wanted to settle for loss or less. You showed me that love can be both safe and daring, both gentle and fierce. Her hand tightened around his. Amara continued. So today, I vow to love you without fear, to walk beside you, even when the path is unclear. She sobbed, oh my God, I'm a mess. As she continued, to listen when silence speaks louder than words. I vow to laugh with you in joy, to hold you in sorrow, and to never forget that you are my gift, my home, my heart. The rings and blessings. Margaret stepped forward, holding a small velvet box. Her voice trembled but carried. My dear, this ring has passed through generations of James women. It carries not just gold, but stories of resilience, faith, and devotion. Today, it becomes yours because you are family and you are loved. She placed the heirloom in Greg's hand. He slipped the ring onto Amara's finger, his tongue brushing across her knuckles. Ring, I seal my vow. With my life, I seal my love, said Glenn softly. Amara lifted the second ring, then began to speak. With this ring, I choose you. In this moment, and in all the moments to come. She slipped it onto his finger, her smile trembling through tears. The officiant lifted his hand. By the blessing of the sea, remind you to be vast in patience. May the strength of the mountains teach you to endure. May the warmth of the sun keep your love ever burning bright. And may you always find hope, not in walls or places, but in each other, said the officiant. By the power entrusted in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Gregory, you may kiss your bride. Greg cupped Amara's face, their kiss long and unashamed. The crowd erupted in cheers. Steel drums burst into jubilant rhythm as petals rained down. And in that kiss, all the storms, doubts, years of distance dissolved into one truth. They were home at last. Chapter 47. The reception and celebrated blessing. The sun had dipped low, casting a golden glow across the neighboring resort terrace. Guests made their way to tables adorned with white linen and tropical centerpieces of hibiscus, orchids, and palm fronds. Lanterns swayed gently in the evening breeze. Flora's grandmother whispered, "My dear, look at them, every detail. They have babies of memory to last a lifetime." He adjusted his bow tie, his eyes never leaving Amara's. She's radiant in her second dress. A flowing silk gown of soft coral, perfect for the evening breeze. Steel drums, marimbas, and subtle Caribbean percussion set the rhythm, blending with a live band playing soft jazz standards, a nod to their international friends and family. Ben cleared his throat, lifting his glass to toast. Tessa gave a sly smile to her husband, mouthing, "Make it good." Feedback. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, it's an honor to stand here today. Some of you may know me as Greg's long life friend, but today I am simply a witness to one of the greatest loves I have ever seen. Greg and Amora, you two have taught us that love is patient, courage, and honesty, shouted Tessa. A little mischief, yes. Don't forget the mischief, she teased, earning a chuckle from the crowd. Ben said that, yes, and let's not forget that I have known Greg since we were in Boston. We have shared late night talks, early mornings, and countless adventures. I thought I knew him, but Amora, you brought a side of him that even I didn't even see. Gentle, open, completely in love. Then said Tessa, To Greg and tomorrow, may your love continue to grow as big as the ocean before us and as steadfast as a mountain in your hearts. Can we lift our glasses to the happy couple and everyone shared? Glasses clicked, laughter filled the terrace, and the band struck up a playful calypso rhythm as guests cheered. He raised his glass, smiling warmly. Julie followed suit, her eyes bright with pride. Then Michael continued. When Greg left Boston, some of us were worried, not for him, but for tomorrow. How would she handle a man like Greg? Well, clearly, she didn't just handle him. She tamed him lovingly with grace and intelligence. Everyone laughed. Then came Julie. And let me say, Amaro, you are extraordinary, not just for capturing Greg's heart, but for the holding your own in this journey. We have seen your courage, your strength, and now your joy at this day. Cheers to you both. Everyone lift your glasses, said Julie. Sam chuckled as he raised his glass. My turn to give a toast to this man and his beautiful bride, said Sam. And I just want to say, we have traveled from near and far to celebrate this occasion. Love like yours deserves every bit of fanfare, my friend. And also, if Grace ever misbehave, I know who's going to keep him in line. Everyone laughed. Then came Ashley. Exactly. Here's to love, laughter, and long life adventures. To Greg and Amora. Lift your glasses, everyone, in this toast along with me, said Ashley laughing. And the crowd erupted. Another round of cheers and applause echoed across the terrace. The sun now fully setting, painting the ocean in hues of orange, pink, and gold. Greg's mother stood beside him, glass in hand, eyes shining. Gregory. Gregory, my son, I have spent too many years worrying about what you should do rather than celebrating who you are. Today, I stand proud, proud of the man you have become and the woman you have chosen to be by your side. She turned to Amaro, smiling softly. Amaro, thank you for loving my son, for seeing him, and for helping him becoming even more of himself. You are brave. You are kind. You are exactly who he needs. Welcome to our family. And the applause followed. And Greg took his mother's hand, kissing it gently. Amaro's grandmother, seated nearby, clapped with vigor. Then she said, may this love grow into the mango tree, strong, beautiful, and giving shade for many years. And may your hearts always find each other, even when the world tries to pull you apart. The words hung in the air, sweet like the scent of the hibiscus blossoms around the terrace. As Amaro's grandmother lifted her glass and said, join with me in this toast to my wonderful granddaughter and her handsome, excellent husband, JJ. Leave it up to Amaro's grandmother to make the room go wild. The band shifted gears into a lively reggae beat. Guests were drawn to the dance floor, stepping into time with the music. Greg and Amara shared their first dance as married couple. The moment intimate and tender. Greg's hand rested slightly on Amara's back, her head leaning against his shoulder. Time seemed to go. Family and friends curled around, but for them, it was just the two of them. Heartbeats aligned. Breathing synced. The promise of a shared lifetime echoing in every step. As the song ended, Amara pulled back slightly, eyes twinkling. Dance, feel like the first day of forever. Greg smiled, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face. And I mean every word of it, my darling. he reassured. The reception continued into the night. Servers offered platters of jerk chicken, curry goat, festival bread, and tropical fruits, rum punch, sorrel flavored freely. Ashley and Julie led a group to teach the guests how to dance the soca and reggae steps properly, as they are really Jamaican. They were born in Jamaica, but nevertheless now married and relocated in Boston. So now that they're on their mother's side, are determined they could not let the tradition of the island go without teaching their friends. Even Greg, typically reserved, laughed as he tried to follow the beat, stepping on Tessa's toes once or twice. Amara's family joined in, her mother and brother smiling wildly. Seeing the joy radiate from her, the tension of the past melted away into laughter, music, and shared celebration. This covers half of the reception, including toasts, blessings, first dance, and cultural immersion, sweet moments. The cake, a three-tiered masterpiece adorned with tropical flowers and soft coral icing. She wheeled out to cheers and applause. Amara's grandmother whispered to her, "Remember, savor the sweetness. This is the beginning of your forever." Greg lifted the knife with a smile, Amara's hand in his. "Shall we, Mrs. Thompson?" said Greg, asked Greg. Amara laughed softly. "Mr. Thompson, yes, let's do this together," she said. They cut the cake slice together, feeding each other carefully. Laughter erupted when Greg playfully smeared a tiny bit in Mars' nose. She pretended gaps and flickered a small dab back at him. Even amidst the formality, it was these playful moments, the laughter, the gentle touches, the shared smiles that anchored their day in authenticity and love. Amara's mother. "Amara, my daughter, I spent years trying to mold you into what I thought was best, forgetting that the heart knows its own path. Today, I see a woman who is courageous, brilliant, and apologetically herself. Greg, thank you for loving my daughter as she deserves." Applaud erupted, mingled with the sound of soft steel drum music in the background. Amara's grandmother added, voice warm and strong. "Love is not about perfected timing. It's about the right place. Today, we witness not only a union but the triumph of patience, courage, and truth. Greg Amora, may your hearts always find each other first before the world does." Greg squeezed Amara's hand, feeling the weight of family acceptance, and then whispered, "They love us. They really do," said Greg. Amara smiled, tears in her eyes, but her heart was full and feeling overwhelmingly happy with joy and the warm reception of everyone. And guys, yes, what am I doing, huh? Well, you have come to the end of the story. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Like it up. Share it up with your friends and family. Yes, and all the best for the upcoming new year. And like I always say, Philippians 4 verse 30. I can do all things through Christ which strengthens me. So whatever you find to do today, do it to the best of your ability. Bye bye. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for keeping our company. Thank you for your support and love. We will take a break for now. The stories are there under my videos if you want to continue watching or listening
to the stories there, right there. Thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming in. I'll be taking back some of the jackets for now until next time. And happy new year again to you all. Love you all, my darlings. Love, 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 and appreciate love you all. And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.